first. He's got three specific perspectives in this. And my first point for us today is a wrong perspective in life leads to sin. A wrong perspective in life leads to sin. Keep in mind with me that a life out of focus will always bring forth sin. Asaph focused on others. First of all, he focused on others. Specifically in this chapter, we see he focused on the prosperity of the wicked. We see he focused on the prosperity of the wicked. First of all, in verse 4, he said they seemed to die peaceful deaths. It said literally there were no bands in their death. MacArthur says that this means that they died peaceful deaths without pain. They died a healthy death. Verse 5 says they were not troubled or plagued. It seemed that they weren't going through trials as Asaph was. In verse 7 we see they had everything they wanted. Whatever the wicked wanted, they usually got. And Asaph is focusing on the prosperity of the wicked, which brings forth the sin of envy. In verse 3 it says, "For I was envious at the foolish, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." He was envious of the prosperity of the wicked. After Asaph displays the life of the wicked man, he then goes to portray these men that do not deserve to have all this. They don't deserve to have all this because of these things. And he goes on to say in verse 6, they were prideful and violent people. It says they wore pride as a chain, and they also wore violence as a garment. He's saying when they walk down the street, people recognize them as a people that were violent and prideful. It also says in verse 8, they were scoffers. They scoffed God. They scoffed other people. Verse 9 and 10 says they drag others to sin with them. They were so crafty in what they did, they actually got people to sin with them. Verse 11 says they doubt the Creator. Literally, they doubted the omnisciency, the wisdom of a divine Creator. They said, how doth God know? And is there any knowledge in the Most High? They doubt that God sees what they're doing and will punish them for what they're doing. And Asaph is saying, this is why they shouldn't be prospering in life. And he's envious at why they're prospering. And he has a wrong focus in life. We see this right from the beginning of the Bible. Cain and Abel. Cain was envious of his brother Abel because God took his sacrifice and not Cain's. And that led to the sin of murder. We see in Joseph's life, his brothers were envious of him because he was his father's favorite. Because he was favored by God too. And we see that Joseph's brothers was almost led to kill Joseph. Instead, they sold him into slavery. There again, we see sin brought by a wrong focus in life. But secondly, Asaph focuses on himself. He shifts here from saying them and they and turns and starts to say I and me. And this brings forth the sin of self-pity and also selfishness. He was troubled and plagued every day. We'll go ahead and read a little further in Psalm 73, starting at verse